So before we kind of get into your travels and everything, I do want to share how we met. Because when I watch...
my first rejection letter.
Well, sort of. That sounds really bad with not even setting that up. Because when I watch her videos and I get to see where you've come in your career, it's incredible.
Thank you.
So when she says rejection letter, let's clarify. At the time, I was in my different career in my life. I was working at a talent agency, and you would send in a letter for representation, and the company, not me per se, the company,
was like, sorry, we can't.
they rejected you, and she called and was like, why? And I was like, well, you know, do this, do that, and I suggested a couple hosting things for her to go do, and she kind of stayed on it, and we kept in touch and talked several times, and since then, your career has just taken off. I'm not really taking credit for it. I'm just saying it's been awesome to watch what you've done.
You shouldn't.
I wouldn't at all. Well, let's so as I said in the video, you went to India quite a bit growing up, right?
Yes.
You grew up in the States.
Yes, born and raised.
How often would you guys go as a family?
You know, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, but somehow my parents were able to save for these trips to Kenya and, you know, every other summer to visit one set of grandparents, in India, you know, every couple years in the winter to visit the other set of grandparents, and we would hop and skip over Egypt and Singapore, and I was just obsessed with the flight attendants on Singapore Airlines, literally the whole inspiration for my career.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I still stalk them when I see them. I actually just really had the passion of wanting to help women feel good about themselves. I mean, I grew up, I got bullied like horrendously from junior high through high school. I mean, guys would throw dog shit, and it was awful. And, you know, and I remember doing my very first makeover on a woman who I had no idea had cancer, but the next day I got a bouquet of flowers from her husband saying, thank you so much for bringing my wife back. You put a smile on her face. She's been going through cancer. And it was just a nice thank you card, and that's when I realized the power of beauty and what you could do for someone's self-esteem. So that was always my passion about it. And America's the greatest melting pot in the world, and we're creating new skin tones like minute by minute, and no one's addressing all these beautiful women that aren't Caucasian or African American. And that kind of pissed me off because I was kind of in that middle range that I could never find products that matched my skin. I could, you know, it was just silly. So I was like, why isn't anybody addressing like all these amazing people out there? And so that's what I started talking about, and very indirectly, as the universe works and fate would have it, that became my distinct voice in a very saturated industry, and that was what set me apart.
I've been to India obviously many times.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for people who've never been to India? And tell me about like that experience with him when you went for the first time.
Yeah, I always tell people that when you go to India, you land as one person and you leave as another person, because it will fundamentally change you at your core of, you know, just from the sights, the sounds, the tastes. I mean, it's such an overstimulation of senses, and then you're seeing like such incredible depths of poverty, but at the same time, like right next to it, like such incredible riches. And modern day, you'll see like a billboard with a girl in a bikini right next to this like 4,000-year-old mosque. You know, it's just like this. You just don't know where to look. So I always tell people, like, you go as one person, you leave as another, and you either love it or you hate it. You don't kind of like India.
Passport to Beauty came together. You traveled for 2 years, right? Writing your book. Tell us some of the places you went.
Well, first of all, I wanted an excuse to travel and go to the spa for research and get paid. So
Obviously.
That's why,
Obviously.
that's why I wrote my book, Passport to Beauty. Gosh, you know, we went everywhere. It was just, I mean, I don't know, have any of you been to Bangkok? Like, that's just one of my, I love Thailand. Thailand's amazing. I mean, it's another old world, modern day, Buenos Aires, Kenya, God, Egypt. I mean, I literally went everywhere.
And so you just launched your Passport to Beauty box.
Yes.
Did you have that planned when you were doing the book as well? Was that kind of, so it just came together after?
Well, the book came out in 2006.
Okay.
And I had a previous brand in Sephora and QVC and Victoria's Secret called Global Goddess, which was a very glamorous, like, we're going to jet set around the world and it's glam. And then I got my ass kicked, and then I was like, it's not about being glam, it's about feeling good inside, you know? So Passport to Beauty is more of like using the global palette system for really living your best life from the inside out. So in doing that, beauty is so much more than lipstick and mascara. It's really about experience and, you know, what you're doing to empower yourself, what you're doing to create your tribe. And so we initially launched 2 years ago with products. We've, you know, some of our best sellers, we have a 22 karat gold face mask. We have these K-beauty masks. We literally take secrets like goji berry from Tibet, and then we go in the lab with our chemist and we marry it with like matrixyl and retinol and peptides to make it really innovative and high performing. So we had all these products. We sold about 400,000 products in 2 years. We just launched our Passport to Beauty. It's a beautiful like destination box. The first box is Barcelona because it's one of my most favorite places.
I was going to ask you, but why was Barcelona? Is there like, I know it's one of your favorite places.
I've really been having a love affair with Barcelona.
No, you showed us like the sea salt and the olive oil. Was there other elements in Spain that like really stood out for to be the first box?
You know, I just think we travel. I mean, this year alone, we were in like Budapest, and I have a media deal in Amsterdam, Budapest, Amsterdam, Cannes for the Film Festival, Paris, Barcelona, you know, and then back in the south of France and Rome. And for some reason, like Barcelona is just, when I went to Buenos Aires, I was like, I love it here. I want to live here. This is so cool. It's like 5 really distinct neighborhoods. Everything has its own flavor. And then I went to Barcelona. I'm like, you know what? This is even better because I'm in Europe and I can drive right over the border to the south of France. Barcelona is just like such a celebration of art. You know, you've got like Gaudi everywhere. You know, the architecture is beautiful. The people are beautiful. They're so nice. The food's good. It's very much like LA. You know, you've got that Mediterranean climate. You've got the beach. You've got the mountains. And I mean, it's just literally like being at home, but being in this with sangria and patatas bravas. So.
Which sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And what's the next country?
So the next box is Tibet.
Tibet.
And Tibet's more of, you know, Barcelona was like, you know, a trip down the Spanish Riviera. We found all these amazing beauty secrets of saffron and, you know, whipped elixirs and face flashes, which is their secret why they don't ever even need to wear foundation because they literally flash their face daily with vitamins, which we don't do here. So we create our own
how do
face
they do
flash.
that?
They have these little ampules that they pop or they break, and then they just flash their skin, and it's pure vitamins, and their skin's super healthy, so we created our own face flash. And then we curated the rest of the box with like your scarf for your rooftop cocktails, and your tapas bowl, and your olives, and your blood orange Spanish olive oil that you can either cook with or you can put in your hair like they do for split ends. So it's a full experiential
Would that
box.
work for mine?
I actually think better for you.
Perfect.
But the next box is Tibet, so it's more of an inner journey of beauty. So it's a lot of more meditation, wellness.
Tibet, what's next? What's after that?
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires. Okay, and do you have them lined up after that, or are you still kind of doing some research, traveling to see?
I'm doing some research, and also for me, the way I create, I don't like to plan things. I'm very gut driven, so I might go somewhere and be like, oh my God, the next. I mean, like we already have the entire Paris box curated because I was in Paris and we shot 11 videos and met the most amazing people that were like, we have to be part of your box.
Yeah. And what lessons have you learned from traveling yourself?
Gosh, you know, the biggest lesson, I think, is that just we're all the same. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You know, when I wrote my book, Passport to Beauty, I remember interviewing women all over the world, and I remember meeting these women in Eritrea, and they had the most beautiful skin I mean, this glowing, gorgeous skin. And I'm like, what do you guys do? And they're like, you know, Shalini, we have no rights as women. We have no running water. We have no electricity. We live in these huts, but in the village center, we have one TV, and we like J-Lo. And I'm like, okay, there we are. Let's just bring it back to reality. And they all wanted to feel like they had J-Lo skin. So they would tell me that once a week they would collect all these herbs, get totally naked, get under these blankets and steam for 45 minutes as a group, and they would catch up on the week's gossip. And then for the next week, they felt like they had J-Lo skin. And I was like, okay. But what was amazing to me is it didn't matter that these women had like no money, no rights, no running water, and nothing. And they had the same need to look and feel beautiful as the woman in her Maserati going down Vadera Drive. Just a very different approach to how to get there.
Favorite beauty secret that you've found over the years?
I love the secret from the Dominican Republic. They can't afford to go and get acrylic nails. So what they do is they chop up fresh garlic and they put it in a bottle of clear nail polish and they let it stew for like 7 to 10 days. And then when they polish their nails, it makes it harder than acrylic nails.
Wow, so they make a stew.
And I actually travel with a bottle of clear nail polish with garlic in it in my travel bag. I don't know why, but I do. It's my favorite beauty secret.
That's amazing.
And for you, since you like all this vegan food and everything,
sometimes. Sure.
The one that I love from Zimbabwe is they boil okra and then they mash it and it becomes like this slimy, just weird consistency. And they use it on their face and it pushes so much moisture in their skin that it plumps up any fine lines and wrinkles.